Hey guys, this is Adrian from PlasmaCards, and here we are with
Aidan Makepeace.
And he kicked my ass, and he is currently 3-1 at the Montreal regional qualifier, and we hope he goes all the way. His one loss was against the world champion Saphira, so I think that's perfectly justified. And he's playing easily the most original deck I've ever seen, so we just had to profile it here. And what is this deck called exactly?
So I've christened it Burning Saphira because of the use of Burning Abyss and the new Saphira ritual card. Because so many people nowadays think that rituals are not worth playing at all, but there's actually a ton of support for them and it works really well. So it obviously runs on 3 Saphira. For those that don't know, Saphira's effect triggers on the turn she's ritual summoned, or if a light monster is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, and that can be either player's hand or deck. So if your opponent does Kuri Bandit and sends a load of lights to the graveyard, you can use her effect during the end phase, like I forgot to do against Say Habib. So yeah, that's her effect, and then pretty obvious are 3 Manjus because it searches both parts, and it's an obvious light to mill with Dante. Then we have 3 Tour Guides, which obviously go really easily into the Burning Abyss cards, and also let you search for the Jinn, which is the heart and soul of the deck, because the Jinn plus Saphira means your opponent can't do anything, as you found out.
Because I found out the hard way.
So then we run 3 Graphs, because it's a great special summoner, easy to go into Dante, searches out Scram, who searches out more stuff. 3 Scrams, because this card is ridiculously good.
Tour Guide.
Yeah, this with Tour Guide, it can search the pieces of the Jinns for you, for use with, because it searches just Fiends. Or level 3 Fiends, I think? Or is it?
Just the universal searcher for the deck, essentially.
Yeah,
level 3 Fiends, I think, no?
Level 3 Fiends. Let's just... yeah, level 3 Fiends, which is exactly what all of this is. I only run 1 Seer because it's dead in your opening hand really early on, especially with this deck, I find.
Special summons from the graveyard, right?
Special summons from the graveyard, so it's the least likely to... So it's the least likely to be helpful at the beginning. 1 is useful because you can recycle Dante and other effects quite easily. Okay, so
this card, oh my god.
2 releases, which can be searched by Tour Guide and Scram. This card, and also if you mill it with Dante, it works perfectly. This card, if it's used for the ritual summon, your opponent cannot special summon. It's a one-sided Vanity's Emptiness as long as the ritual is face up on the field.
And it's not like you can even stop it with Veil or anything.
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
Yeah, even if you skill drain, this effect still happens. It still cannot special summon.
That's amazing.
You can also banish this card from the graveyard, gain its effect to not let your opponent special summon as part of the ritual. So if it goes to the graveyard, that's fine. You just banish it instead of doing it from your hand on the field. It's an amazing card. Then we've got the newest Jinn, which came out in the current set. This one is, if it's used, it means your ritual can't be targeted. Which, not being able to special summon and not being able to target the monster means that this is
bad times for them.
That's what we call perfect Saphira, if you've got both parts of it, and it can be banished from the graveyard just like the other one. Then we run 1 Honest, because you have an infinite Honest with Saphira's effect to add it back to your hand.
It's a ridiculous move.
You attack with it, discard it on your turn, hit them, add it back during your end phase, they attack you, you discard it, smack their monster down, and add it back during their end phase. You never run out of Honest. Blackluster Soldier, Foolish Burial Blackluster Soldier to the graveyard, during the end phase, add it to your hand. And if it dies and your Saphira's effect triggers, you just add it back to your hand. You just keep blacklustering until you're bored.
I have a better question. Why is it super?
Because I like the big box.
Where's your IOC, Aidan?
I have an IOC, I just happen to like the big box.
Player pet.
I concur.
This is also why Foolish Burial is secret and not super, though I do have a super, because I like the big box. But
Aidan, you're a scrub.
Shut your face, Ed.
He's a 3-1 scrub. It's better than I can say.
This can activate for either of these 2. It can put a part you're missing in the graveyard. It can put Scram in the graveyard to search. This card is so versatile in this deck, it's untrue. If I could run 3, I would run 3 in a heartbeat. It's that good.
Oh yeah, because you keep adding everything back into your hand. Yeah, sure.
Rank up. Every Burning Abyss player knows why you run this, because you can go into Pallades, Tyrius, Volcasaurus if you run Grenosaurus. I don't feel it's worth it. Vampire Bram, and what's the other one? No. I think I'm only running the 3, yeah. Pallades, Tyrius, and Bram. But if you run Grenosaurus and you have room for it, then you can do Volcasaurus as well. Plus this card, if milled, you can add it back to your hand, which in a deck that runs Dante, brilliant.
Would you ever consider running 3?
No. One of the first cards I side out is one of these 2. It's nice to run 2, but quite frankly, like, it's not necessary. I sometimes consider dropping the overall deck count of it down to 1 and running more Spell and Trap 8, but I feel it's still worth its spot. 2 main deck MSTs, because why not? Obviously, back rows are a problem if they stop Saphira being summoned. Vanity's Emptiness, I'm looking at you. Creature swap, because this is hilarious. You creature swap them a scram and then hit them to get the effect. Plus, one of the few weaknesses to this deck is if they creature swap your Saphira. It doesn't target, so they can do that. So if they creature swap it, I creature swap it back. And it's just useful with all of the Burning Abyss cards.
And then they cry.
And then they cry, exactly.
Really good card.
This is a hilariously good ritual spell. Because if the monster is, if a ritual monster is supposed to be destroyed, then you can banish this instead. And if you've only got 1 in the graveyard and 2 ritual monsters are being destroyed at the same time, you can banish 1 for both.
Wow, so it protects it completely.
And it works during the damage step. So if they try and run over your Saphira, which is a weakness, you can just banish this instead.
Very good card.
I bet a lot of people have to read your cards.
Yes, they do. It does happen a lot. And then 3 Preparation of Rites, because it's either Rota for Saphira on its own if you don't have him in the graveyard. If you have him in the graveyard, it instantly sets up for a Saphira play. It's fantastic. Plus, milling this with Dante works really nicely. You just add it. You just search for a Saphira and add this back. Traps. I only run 1 Phoenix. I used to run 2. I find that I don't know. I prefer Raigeki Break. I want to get rid of the back row.
Even with Shadal's?
Even with yeah. I don't know what I don't have a bad matchup with Shadal's. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I find I only run a 1 to run. Shut up, Ed. Edward is such. I love you. 2 Raigeki Breaks because I love Raigeki Break. I hate that this isn't a big border, but you know, I haven't got around to doing it yet.
Wait, I have a serious question.
Seriously, what?
Why aren't they super?
Because I don't own super rare
Why is
ones.
everyone criticizing the rarity?
Okay, I have another question.
Because my friends are jerks and I have to make do with what I have.
This isn't alti.
Anyway, ignoring the sideshow. And then I run 2 Vanity's Emptiness, because if you get half a Saphira off, if you've just got the non-targeting part, this works as the other half temporarily while you're setting up to full perfect Saphira.
And so that's a 40-card main deck?
40 cards, exactly 40 cards.
Do extra. You don't have to show your side deck.
Sure. Other to know than there's MST and Lancers on the side deck to just help protect. Plus I've got, what, Chain Disappearance times 3. 3 non-fusion areas, because that's areas to chain.
Stuff.
Yeah, your standard Flying Seas and Maxis.
Non-fusion area is pretty cool.
Yeah, non-fusion area is a nice card. So I can't run Light or Dark Imprisoning Mirror in the side because this run both Light and Dark. So I have to. Yeah. 2 Dantes because I only own 2, and these cards are hilariously expensive. I pulled 1 and bought 1 for 20 before it went nuts. So
You just had to make the deck.
yeah. 1 Pallades. I was running 2. I find you don't really need the second one. Alucard to mess with that back row, plus it goes into Bram. Wish I wasn't running this card. I mean, it works, but I want to run Levial Chain to set up the graveyard more easily, but I traded it stupidly just before I made this deck, so I have to go get another one, and they're currently 40 bucks. M7 because it lets you get back stuff from the graveyard that might be milled, plus it goes on top of Pallades, epic card. Really useful in combating Saphira's one weakness, being that she's only 2,500 attack points. So it makes her 28, and if you can get both effects, she becomes 31. A great card. Another nice way to stop her from dying in battle is this. Plus it goes into Tyrius, and Tyrius is a great card. should be self-explanatory. Tyrius, I just explained. Bram, it's a nice little card to nick their construct if you can. Screw with them that way. This because
It's amazing.
it's a good card. Why wouldn't you? I run this because this plus Saphira is hilarious when you've got Hymns of Light in the graveyard. You clear their field,
And you get to keep the Saphira.
and you get to keep the Saphira. Their lock is still in place, and they've got like next to no cards in play.
How do you make rank 4s in this deck?
It's the 3-man Jews and the Honest. It doesn't happen often, but it happens enough for it to be worthwhile.
Why don't you play Fairy Cheer Girl?
Because Fairy Cheer Girl is too OP and he didn't want people to cry.
Exactly. That's clearly the reason.
Wait, no. Why didn't you play Utopia?
Then we have the
Levair.
Levier, because it can get back pieces, because you're banishing quite a lot with Saphira's summon, Black Luster's summon, and annoying things like Deep Prism, which can get rid of pieces for you. So this is actually really necessary. And then finally this to run over problematic cards, and then when it's done, you creature swap it to them and laugh while they can't special summon anymore.
Damn. So, ladies and gentlemen, so far Aidan is 3-1 at the tournament, and we hope he makes it all the way. That way we can give this video an awesome title that says Top 32 in the Montreal regions. So,
I hope so too.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about the deck before we finish?
It's really good fun. Really good fun.
Enough said. Thank you very much.